Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alaihi wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina may yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh sallallahu alaihi wasallam tabaraka wa sallama tasliman kasiran kasira amma ba'd. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa man ahsanu qawlan mimman da'a ila Allah wa amila salihan wa qala innani minal muslimin. My dear brothers and respected elders and sisters, what is the truth? The truth is there is no God except Allah. That is the ultimate truth. And Allah, who is the truth, because He only exists. No one exists except they are created. Allah exists and never dies. The truth. Other than Allah is created, and all other than Allah will die. So it's false. The truth is something that never dies, never vanish, never expired, never extinct. But the false are something which is temporary, not everlasting, will be destroyed, will be vanish, will be extinct. So other than Allah are false. The truth is Allah. So when we recite the kalima, there is no God except Allah, we are reciting the kalima of truth. And a person who has this kalima inside his or her hearts is having the kalima of truth. And the action which will spring out from this person will be the action of truth. And therefore, the man and the woman, whose actions are the action of truth, are called truthful men and truthful woman. And the place of those who are truthful is in paradise. That's all the cycle which I've mentioned as to why we have to get this kalima of truth inside our belief. Allah have given this kalima of truth, and this kalima of truth, once we accept, we have to accept the kalima. We have no choice, because we already agreed to accept it in that time of arwah, in the time when we are only in the form of souls. When Allah asks us, I'm not your Rabb, all of us, each and every one of us, reply to that question with the answer, certainly you are. You are our Rabb, you are our sustainer, you are our Lord. There is no Lord other than you. So we are now in this world. Allah is invisible. Allah is not to be seen. It is improper, for men to see Allah in this worldly life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will communicate with His servant either by voice or via angels, or like Allah speaks to Musa. He doesn't show His true self, and send angel Jibril to other prophets of Allah. So it's not proper, it's improper to see Allah, who is our creator, in this worldly life. But we do see Him in paradise. in the life of hereafter. So the time has not come for us to see him. So my dear brothers, Allah is the truth, nothing but the truth. He exists and He remains alive forever, never die. When everything collapses, when everything will be destroyed, He remains alive. That is the truth. You understand? When something is destroyed, it's not truth. Something vanished, extinct, it's not truth. So it's nothing truth but Allah. So we have to accept that kalima, and we have decided to accept it, the man. And when we accept that kalima, there is work or responsibility to be executed by us in order to justify us to accept that kalima. And that work is the work of calling people to Allah, the work of inviting people to Allah, or the work of inviting people to good, forbidding people from evil. And that's why when we recite this kalima of truth, with this kalima of truth, we must fulfill the right of this kalima. So those who are not willing to recite this kalima of truth, they have not fulfilled their promise. When they were in the time of Ruh, when they say yes, certainly you are our Rabb, they were saying, but now when they in the worldly life, they denied that they have already, they already make the promise to Allah that Allah is His or her Rabb. So you have actually no one in this whole world should not be reciting the kalima. We all should recite the kalima. Either we like it or we don't, because we have already promised that we say in the alam of arwah that certainly you are. Allah says, Alastu bi rabbikum, I'm not your Lord. And we say, yes, certainly you are. There's no Lord except you. So in actual fact, every one of us, no matter either man or woman, we have to recite this kalima. Either we like it or not. And when we don't recite the kalima, that means we are not fulfilling our promise to Him. We have made the promise. So when we recite the kalima, with that we have to fulfill its right. This is the first order of Allah, to recite the kalima and to fulfill its rights, which has been made to be disappeared by all the so-called theologians or so-called people of knowledge of the past. They have not include this. The 5 pillars of Islam. The first one is only to recite the kalima. It's not complete. You don't only recite the kalima, you have to fulfill its rights. The first pillars of Islam should be to recite the kalima La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah and to fulfill its right. The words to fulfill its right has been deleted and therefore forgotten. So this has been deleted and forgotten since since the time of Adam. They simply ignored this. They do not want to fulfill its rights because it demands sacrifices. When we want to fulfill the rights of reciting the kalima, we have to sacrifice our own time and wealth in order to fulfill the rights of the kalima. So it is very tough and almost impossible to those who love their wealth and their money. Their wealth, basically time is associated with wealth. Either you use your time for Allah, to call people to Allah, or to earn wealth. So the only capital which we have is our time. Wal asri innal insana lafi. Allah says, I swear by time. Truly, men are at loss, because the time is actually our capital in order to become success or failure. So we have to sacrifice our time. But when we have worldly, the love towards the worldly life or worldly material, we will not use our time to do the work of fulfilling the right of the of reciting the great kalima, which is to do the work of inviting people to Allah, or the work of inviting people to good, forbidding people from. We will not do. Neither we use our time nor our wealth. We will use our time and our wealth only to increase our wealth. And that's what happened, as to why we have deleted that 5 pillars of Islam. The first one, only to recite the kalima. That's all. Secondly, to pray. Third, fasting, zakat and hajj. So these 5 pillars of Islam are wrong. The first one is wrong. It's false. It doesn't command any orders other than reciting the kalima, the first order of Islam, the first rukun of Islam, pillars of Islam, only to recite. It's so simple and easy. Just to recite, Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan. I bear witness there is no God except Allah. And this has been accepted by the entire Muslims, the so-called Muslims, whole world as a truth, all this while. I'm just telling you, it is not true. I'm only one. Whole world, only one who is telling this. Believe it or not, I'm the only one. No one. No one ever in the past, from the time of Adam. I don't know whether it is 5 pillars of Islam, but naturally, the 5 pillars of Islam should have been, all this while. Except the first one, all the time is not the true pillars, the true first pillars of Islam. The true is to recite the kalima and to fulfill its rights. That means it is not sufficient only to recite the kalima. We have to do the work. This is what make it different. Once the 5 pillars of Islam start with reciting the kalima and fulfilling its rights, or to do the work that fulfill its rights, is different. The whole 5 pillars of Islam emerge as something very powerful, and that become the foundation of the religion of Islam, the 5 pillars of Islam. The Tabligh people, the Jamaat Tabligh, they create a new pillars, because they find out that the so-called Muslim all this while are having these 5 pillars. It gives no results. Muslims all over the world are not practicing Islam. Why? With the 5 pillars of Islam, with the first one to recite the kalima, second to perform prayer, it gives no results. So they're wondering whether it is a true pillars or not. So they change it. They make it 6 pillars. They call it principle, six principle, which is not in Hadith, neither in Hadith, not in the Quran. But the stupid people all over the world follows. Those who follow Jamaat Tabligh lah. So they want to test either the person belong to Jamaat Tabligh. They will ask him, what is 6 point? If that fellow can narrate that 6 point, then he says, okay, you belong to our group. So other than the groups of Jamaat Tabligh, they don't know 6 points. Those who join Jamaat Tabligh, they know. And when they go out in their so-called khuruj, in the path of Allah, they have session to learn the 6 points. And their 6 point is, one is iman, second is salat, third is ilm and zikr, fourth is ikhlas, fifth is ikram muslimin, and sixth is tabligh. The sixth is work of tabligh or khuruj in the path of Allah. Their tabligh is khuruj. So one time the Jews, the Jews in Israel, the one tabligh Jamaat went to Israel. So they asked them, what is your 6 point? So the person replied, and he narrated it, but he changed it. Fourth one, ikram the whole mankind. He said false. The Jew said it's wrong. Your fourth one is ikram muslimin, not ikram for the whole mankind. Even then the Jews also knows. So tabligh has going around the world spreading this new principle, and this should have to be negated and deleted. It is not in the Hadith. How could we use it? But the whole tabligh, the ulama, the so-called ulama, the scholars, Hafiz of Quran, all in Jamaat Tabligh accepted it as true. Because you have to memorize and learn the 6 principles in Jamaat Tabligh, which is not in the kitab, not in the Quran. They are, all the things are in the Quran, but not in that order. What has been told by Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the 6, the Rukun Islam is 5. But I am not sure whether Nabi told them that the first order is reciting the kalima and fulfilling its rights. I wouldn't know. But it's not in the kitab of Hadith. But kitab of Hadith was written 160 years after Hijrah, and 160 years Hijrah. That means so long time, so long after Nabi Sallam died. So we are not sure. But the fact is that the first kitab, in kitab Hadith, right, that the 5 pillars of Islam, the first one is to recite the great kalimah. That's all. And this is wrong. The first pillars of Islam should be to recite the kalimah and to fulfill its right. And the right of the kalimah is to do the work of inviting people to good, forbidding people from evil, or to do the work of inviting people to Allah. So all the prophets of Allah are doing this work. They recite the kalima and they do the work of inviting people. But the followers of all the prophets of Allah do not do this. They think that the work to call people to Allah is only the work of the prophets. It's not the work of prophets, it's the work of everyone who have recited the kalima. In fact, everyone must recite the kalima. Everyone. willingly or unwillingly, we have to accept we have to recite the kalima because we have promised, we have accept, we are willing to accept the kalima. When Allah SWT offer this kalima, who want to take this kalima? The mountains are not willing to take it because they say we cannot, we don't have the abilities to fulfill, but men do have the ability, so men agree. So either we like it or not, we all must recite the kalima if we want to become men of paradise. If we are to become a person who are successful in this world and in the after, we have, either we like it or we don't, we must recite the great kalima. There is no God except Allah and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. And upon reciting the kalima, we have to fulfill its right. And in other words, we have to do the work of inviting people to Allah, or the work of inviting people to good, forbidding people from evil. This has never been mentioned in the past. Never ever. You may be astonished, how could I know? You shouldn't be astonished, because to those whom Allah give the knowledge, He will know. None of you, Allah has given the knowledge, and you don't know. So to those whom Allah has not given the knowledge that there is a haq of work to be fulfilled in order to make your kalima, La ilaha illallah, to be accepted by Him, and they will not know. So I know because Allah give me the knowledge. I did not know that also in the past. I was a member of Jamaat Tabligh. I know 6 points. I've written a book also on the 6 points, because I find out that all these Tabligh people, when they talk about 6 points, all completely wrong. There is no guideline. There is no. So they used to speak, lies. They don't talk correct 6 points, because nobody actually teaching them properly. What are the 6 points? There are 6 points is arranged in a haphazard manner. Like Rukun Islam, we have the 5 Rukun Islam. Is the 5 Rukun Islam is the Rukun of actions, or the Rukun of Amal, and we have the 6 pillars of Iman, and this is the outcome. So the outcome and the action cannot be mixed. Actions is one pillar, outcome is another pillar. 5 pillars of Islam is the action to be done. The outcome is the 6 pillar Iman. But in Tabligh, the 6 point is haphazard. They put the first point outcome, Iman. Second point, action. Third point, ilm and zikr, is that is actually outcome also, knowledge and zikr. Then they got Ikram Muslimin, and then got ikhlas. This is outcome, Iman. And then they got Ikram Muslimin. This is action. Then they go khuruj. This is action. So action, outcome, a mix. That's why I'm saying these are man-made pillars. It's not Allah's made. The 6 points are not proper. It has to be negated and deleted. It should not be introduced. We already have 5 pillars of Islam, which is the actions, and the 6 pillars of Iman, which is the outcome. Only one outcome, Iman. That's all. Iman is the basis. Once you obtain Iman, you have obtained the foundation of Islam. You don't obtain the Iman, you don't obtain the foundation, you don't have Islam. But in order to attain that foundation, the Iman, we have 5 pillars of Islam. And the first pillars of Islam is to recite the kalima and to fulfill its rights, or to do the work of inviting people to Allah in the way Muhammad SAW with the intention to please Allah. If you don't include to fulfill its rights, that means the first pillars of Islam is not the pillars of action. The action is only to recite the kalima. What is an action? Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan. That's all. 2 minutes, even a few seconds only. What action is that? And it only requires once in a lifetime to recite. Then you already become a believer. They teach us as that. Only once. No need to talk about the kalima. Only once. So how can that become an action? Action has to become daily, at least once in a year or once in a lifetime. It's the same as Hajj. Hajj is once in a lifetime, and this number 5 is the same as number 1, once in a lifetime to recite the kalima, which is nonsense. The first one should be the action, the most hardest, the most frequent, has to be. Then the last one should be once in a lifetime, not Hajj. But instead they make the first action once in a lifetime to recite the kalima, and the last one, 5th one. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is not from Allah. This is also man-made. The one is from Allah is to recite the kalima, and after reciting the kalima, you have to do the work that fulfill the right of the kalima. As I have narrated and compared, the kalima of nikah, the kalima of marriage. You don't simply recite the kalima and marry that girl. The whole lifetime with that girl, you have to fulfill the right of reciting the kalima of marriage. You have to provide the woman with the house, with the clothes, with the food, with the drink, and then both of you make sexual intercourse and give birth to children. You have to fulfill the needs of the children too. When can you deny? Until you die, until you get married with her and divorce, then you no more. But as long as you marry the woman, you have to fulfill the rights. What about the kalima? You don't marry with Allah, but you are already making a promise that I am to be your lover, and I am to fulfill all your desire. As we say to the woman, I will fulfill all your desire. The desire of the woman is a wife, is a house, clothes. Allah is not that desire. The desire of Allah is for the people, for the whole entire mankind whom He has created, worship Him to the core of their hearts. And this is the desire of Allah. And once we recite the kalima, we have to fulfill that desire by embarking on the work of inviting the entire mankind to Allah. See? With our wealth and our time. Then only Allah will be pleased with us. Then only Allah will make the great kalima which we have recited to be installed and ingrained in your heart to the core of your heart. Then only will spring out from your actions the true second order of Allah: prayer, zakat, fasting, and Hajj. And the 6th one is to say salam when you enter any house. Actually, I'm just telling you, all the while we known Rukun Islam as 5, but recently Allah give me the understanding that Rukun Islam is not 5, it's 6. Okay, I narrate to you in order. First one is to recite the kalima and to do the work that fulfill the right of reciting the kalima, which is the work of inviting people to Allah or inviting people to good, forbidding people from evil. This have to be done daily without any excuse. Either you are sick or you are healthy. Minimum 45 minutes to 1.5 hours. This is the first one. The second one is performing salat 5 times daily. For the man, it has to be in the mosque with congregation. For the woman, it should be in the house. If you are sick, only you can pray in the house. The woman has to be in the house. If not, you have to go to the mosque, pray with congregation. The third one is to fast in the month of Ramadan, 1 month. The 5th one, the 4th one, the 3rd one is to fast Fourth one is to give zakat. More than what you needs, then 2.5% of that in a year you have to give as arm tax, zakat. 2.5% of more than what you need. These are being decided by people from country to country, differ. 2.5% of how much thousand? In Malaysia it can be 3,000-4,000. More than that, then you 2.5% of more than that. So you more than your needs. On top of that, you have to frequently give charity. Charity you can do daily, but arm tax only once in a year. And the fifth one is to perform Hajj once in your lifetime. When you have the means money to leave behind with your sibling and wife, if your wife did not go, and to take some, and the road is healthy and the road is safe, and you are healthy. Like now COVID, we cannot go Hajj. And the sixth one is to say salam when we enter our house. Assalamualaikum, and with the niyat to please Allah. I obey Allah with the intention to please Allah. Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is how we should enter our house. It's actually the 6 pillars of Islam and the 6 pillars of Iman. Previously, we have 5 pillars of Islam, which is wrong. The first one is wrong. Now I'm telling you the first one, which is the correct one, and added another one, the 6th one. And I'm telling you this is the truth. The 6 pillars of Islam and the 6 pillars of Iman. Once you do these 5 pillars of Islam, the outcome is you'll have the 6 pillars of Iman. When you have Iman, then all your actions, your salat, your fasting, your zakat, your hajj, your salutation of salam, entering house, will all become sincere. All will be done with sincerity. And when it will be done with sincerity, all your action will be accepted. You become the true believer of the good deeds. And later on, and go on, you become the lover of Allah. You fulfill the real reason, purpose as why Allah has created us, to become His lover. This is what Allah wants from us, from each and every one of us. So if we are to fulfill the rights of the great kalima, we have to do the work of inviting people to Allah with our time and our wealth. Not doing this, we are not fulfilling the right of reciting kalima. We are not going to have the true faith in Iman or the true faith in Allah in our hearts. And we will not become the people who have the correct conducts. In all over the Quran, everything Allah mentioned, true faith and good conduct. True faith and good conduct. Nothing of true faith or nothing else. Just reciting the kalima will enter paradise. Oh, somebody will, who is about to die, everybody go to him, recite the kalima, La ilaha illallah. Of course, there is some use, but you will still be thrown into hellfire. It doesn't mean when you recite the kalima, you go to paradise. Allah do not say that. Even any line. To recite the kalima, once only, go paradise. No. Rasulullah did ask, his uncle and his deathbed. It's about to recite the kalima, not because he will be able to enter paradise. He will give shafa'at. He will give intercession to his uncle. That's all. Not that his uncle will go, when he dies, go to paradise and save from hellfire. So we should not be deceived by these false hadiths. That only reciting the kalima is sufficient, and not the rest. And then we will recite it at the time of our death. Then we'll go to paradise. This is false. This is wrong hadith. False hadith. We have to fulfill the rights of reciting kalima as we married a woman. We have to fulfill the rights. we recite the kalimah nikah. Similarly, we recite the kalimah of iman, la ilaha illallah Muhammad, la ilaha illallah. We have to fulfill this, the right of the kalimah. We have to give our life and time wholly and solely for fulfilling this every day. And we need to go to all over the world to make people to be invited to Allah. Not only doing our local work and city and town because we want to save our money and time. Oh, I'm not going to go out in the path of Allah. To call people to Allah. We have to go out in the path of Allah to call people to Allah, because that is part and parcel of the work to fulfill the right of the great kalimah. Okay.